Right, as you can probably tell, we're looking at the Beastmen today. Nothing says Beastmen like absolutely chaos-tortured ground. I think the Beastmen are a faction that is not particularly popular. I don't see a lot of people playing it. Streamers like Mercy and Legend and Cultist of Corn that I watch regularly don't do a lot of Beastmen campaigns, and I think it's because they're a little bit weird. They don't play traditionally, they don't speak a proper language, so it's hard to get into their lines. But I want to make an argument that if you're playing on Legendary and you're looking for some easy play, some fun play, some outlandish play with some unique mechanics, that you may want to give the Beastmen a chance. We're going to do a slight different thing today. We're going to talk about the two easiest campaigns, and then we're going to talk about the one that was by far the easiest, and then it got nerfed. So we're going to take a look at our boy Khazrak. His starting position is right here, just outside of Laurelorn Forest. Now I did something a little interesting here. I did not take Laurelorn Forest at the beginning. I think I went down and I took out one of these, and then when that got taken out I took this. I did actually get a bad start. The tricky bit for Khazrak is the beginning, this fight at Laurelorn Forest. The Wood Elves in there are pretty difficult. You're probably going to have a really hard time taking it out on turn 1. So what I normally do is you attack the Wood Elf army sitting here, you encamp and you recruit, you get a turn's recruitment. The elves in here, they will start to recruit, and then you besiege them. And then you can wait a number of turns, 1 turn, 2 turns, 3 turns, for them to get whittled down a little by attrition. But that's really your only major challenge. It's best to take out Laurelorn on turn 2, because Franz is going to make a beeline straight up this way, and you're going to want to ambush him somewhere in here. So the starting position is easy because you're fighting, you've got Festus who's going to be buddies with you, you're fighting Empire troops. Empire's original armies are nothing but garbage units. The starting army that Franz has is your biggest enemy. And then you're going to be able to just take out whatever is sitting around out here. These minor settlements full of little Empire troopers, you're not going to have any trouble taking those out. So if we then go on and take a look at the Lord himself, let's take a look at Khazrak. Where is he? Khazrak is all about ambushing. As the Beastmen, you have a stance here that allows you to ambush enemy armies that are not standing in a settlement. Now those in encamped stance will have a heightened ability to resist you, but oftentimes if you're powerful enough, they'll try and run away, which then allows you to ambush. So let's take a look in his... I have not done his quests yet, I don't think. I often don't get the quests done. Yeah, he's got some good items. You can see here Scourge and the Dark Mail. They do give him some good abilities. But he himself, it's all about this row right here. Okay, so he's going to have an ambush success increase, and when he does succeed, he's going to have melee defense and melee attack for his army. He's going to have reinforcement range for his other characters, which means everybody can help out from further away, which promotes the idea that this is a fast-moving, ambushing faction. Love this one here, melee attack, charge bonus, and missile strength for anything that has gore in it, which is essentially the vast majority of his infantry. This one here is for Chaos War, is for cavalry. I'm not a cav guy, sorry. And then here, that's just an increase in money, but most importantly, causing fear when fighting humans, causing terror when fighting the Empire. That just plays into the idea that lore-wise, he's the arch-enemy of Toddy. And then finally this one, Stalk, Vigor Loss Reduction, and Strider for the Lord's Army. This again promotes the idea that you can ambush people in the wild and just tear through territory on that map with no loss. Stalk allows you to get right up to enemy walls and right up on enemy units because stalk allows you to be hidden in any terrain. I'm not sure what the radius is and what the spotting radius is for enemy troops, but this does allow you to sneak up on people. You've got a couple of choices here. I almost always take this one, melee attack and weapon strength for him, then weapon strength for his whole army. And then this one is melee, this is defensive, and then missile resistance. But I don't usually let enemies get a good shot at me. So he's definitely good at boosting his army and making it better ambush-wise. Everything else on here is essentially the same for all of the Beastmen Lords. Now, Khazrak does get chariots. These are fantastic for mowing down infantry, but I often find that I prefer for him to fight on foot so that I don't have to worry about the anti-large issue. Now, that does slow him down tremendously, but I don't like to pay attention to him being on a chariot and have to micromanage him and then find out that some anti-large object has gotten a hold of him. So he's got a wonderful line here for promoting his the raw naked aggression of his faction. So the skill tree we take a look at. We're going to take a look at the skills for the Beastmen in total, which will cover everybody we'll look at today. What we've got here are mostly things that aid in the attack. This helps your first level units, this helps the infantry, the Gors, this helps a lot of the upper level cavalry and the bigger units, and then this is essentially the massive units. Your Minotaurs are down here, the big beasts are all in this one here. These are all little, you have to do these tasks on the map, like take part in a certain number of ambush battles, take part in a certain number of siege battles, use agents a specific number of times, use a spell a specific number of times, and then you can research these. None of them are particularly game-breaking. Oh, there's the wife's phone. So none of these are particularly game-breaking, but they all do add in. There are some of my favorite ones on here. This one here, fear when ambushing for all armies map-wide. This one here, ambush success chance map-wide for all your armies. Those are absolutely fantastic ones. This one here, weapon strength, dwarves, high elves, wood elves, dark elves, and men. Nothing else on here is absolutely necessary. It is just going to boost your army. Let's take a look. Dread from battles, that's your currency that you spend. And here, Guardian for Lords with embedded heroes. Most of these go like 2, 4, 6, 7 turns to, oh yeah, we got 4, 5, 6, 7 turns to research. And they usually are better at the bottom here. Look, speed for all units, but most of the lords can get speed for their units. So what is it that makes this faction powerful and unique and fun to play? Well, it's going to be this dread system up here. The dread system allows you to purchase extra units. Your armies are free, the recruitment is free, but you're going to, cockatrice, I haven't tried one of those yet. You are going to have to boost the number of these that you can get, because you're severely limited in how many you can have. So Khazrak, he's got a bunch of these guys, but that's because I've increased the amount that he can have. If we go to encamp stance here, you can see that there's a cap on a lot of these units. Right, so you can see that I've got 4 of the 6, I've maxed out a lot of these guys. Okay, I've purchased a bunch of additional giants, these Gorgons, and the Chaos Spawn, we'll talk about those in a little while. The units are free, so it's a very, very forgiving faction for those who are struggling, because your entire army can get wiped out, and even if you're broke, you can just take a few turns recruitment to get them back. You are a horde faction, so even if all your settlements are taken, you can use your own encampment in your encamp stance like this to hide and recover. So it is forgiving in that sense. And these units are usually pretty much melee attack. They can be a little brittle, but you're going to use the ambush mechanic to get directly on the enemy almost immediately without having to cross large distances. And in sieges, the vast majority of these guys are going to have stalk abilities, and they're going to have hide abilities, so they're going to be able to, you can put a couple of units on one side of a city, the enemy puts all his troops there, and you can use stalk to get your guys into the settlement. I don't even have any ranged in this because Khazrak is just full on fury and attack. So the selling point for these guys is their amazing resiliency. You also get to get all your major faction leaders through the dread system via this tab here. You just spend 1200 dread and you can recruit the other 3 legendary lords, which makes you very powerful. Now you do have to be careful of the management system there. You're also limited in how many lords you can have. You can see here army capacity +4, and then through the dread system you can also increase your army capacity here. So you are limited in the number of armies that you can have, and you cannot swap out legendary lords as the Beastmen. You can't take just your regular generic lord, kick him out and replace him with a legendary lord. You have to restart that army. So if you're at your cap, you can't just add in somebody that you recruited unless it's he's already alive. So these guys are going to be on the map, and you recruit them with their armies and their territories. Or if they've been knocked out, they come back as somebody that you can recruit at a settlement. But again, you can get all the lords that you want. If you have enough dread, you can see here I just went hog wild. I don't know if I did a major victory or a regular one. Short victory and long victory. So the short victory conditions, you just got to knock out Toddy and take a bunch of territory. It's really pretty easy. This one, you have to take a lot of land, and you have to knock out all these factions that are basically the Empire. You got to wipe out the Empire. So, you know, that was relatively simple to do. You don't have a lot of diplomacy, so there's not a lot of faffing around. You don't really trade with anybody. So this is a simple, easy one to play. You're just going to attack things, kill it. If your army dies, you just rebuild your army. Okay, so let's pop over and take a look at this fella. So the Beastmen I found extremely difficult to play originally, because going from the traditional settlement-based economy to the Horde faction, it can be difficult to know what to upgrade. It's just like any new faction that you take on. You're going to have some experience with it before you figure it out. And there are some definites that you're going to want to do all the time, but they do vary quite wildly between the leaders that you use. Morghur, here we go. What do we have with Morghur? Have we won anything here? Endless her short victory achieved. Okay. So the short victory is to wipe out Carcassonne and Talcin. This is actually a little bit more difficult to do than it is for Khazrak. You've got to go up to Athel Lorn and take him out. This one I haven't taken out the rest of the Empire, so that's probably what I was working on. Oh, I've got the map rotated here. Here we go. Here we go, that's better. So Morghur, you can see here my hometown, my starting position has been taken over. Again, as a Horde faction, you don't really care if that happens. You do build up the buildings, you do get some benefits from them, but when they're taken out, it's not the end of the world. So Morghur starts here. He has to fight the Gentleman of Astalia in here. And that's really relatively simple. You've got Ikit Claw here. He's more than happy to make a non-aggression with you. So you can just bop around in here. Oftentimes I'll just sit in ambush stance outside this while people attack it, because I want to gain that first extra army here at 25 points. And then you're going to come up here and you're going to take on Carcassonne. Again, that's almost always going to be easy because, you know, Bretonnia has terrible, terrible infantry. So nothing different there really in terms of start. Very simple. You're away from a lot of enemies. You don't have any major foes until you go up here to find them. And you got a simple enemy down here to fight. Just Astalian troopers who can do almost nothing to you. So we're going to go find our boy Morghur. Morghur, if we take a look at him, he's all about corruption. This one just adds damage dealing to his army. This one gives regeneration for his chaos spawn. Okay, so that's a nice addition. He is the guy that boosts spawn a bit. He himself is a mortis engine, which means that he can just go into a group of enemy soldiers and start killing them just by being near them. He has regeneration, which is great for him. This one here, adds to raiding. I don't ever raid, it's not really worth it. This one here, campaign movement range and chaos undivided corruption. So that spreads corruption. The more damage enemy troops take from that corruption. And then this one here grants a blessing ancillaries. These are some interesting ones of these. Blessing of filth, horrible regeneration, physical resistance. This one here, speed. So you can get a bunch of these guys here through that. They can be pretty random, but some of them are pretty good. Where are we? And then finally this one here increases his mortis effect. There you go. So every second, every unit within range of him takes 25 to 30 damage, which means he can rack up huge amounts of damage. Hold on a sec. But what makes him easy is that because he uses spawn, you can get this spawn wrangler, and then you just give spawn wranglers to all the other legendary lords who don't have anything to do, which increases your ability to have spawn. And so as we can see here, he's just got an army that's nothing but spawn. And again, this is a unit that's not nearly as good as you would think it was going to be. It's large, it's slow, it's relatively quick, but it gets hit easily, doesn't have much armor. His leadership is good, mostly because they're all high ranking. I mean, look, I've had these guys for a long time, but he doesn't really do anything for spawn other than boost them with the regen. But it makes it such fun to just tank into an army with this massive amount of this nasty, horrible stuff and see him tear through infantry. If the enemy has anything anti-large that can be problematic for them, you can see here that they're unbreakable, so they will fight to the death. They do have the regeneration, though. They do have primal fury. They can hide in the forest, and they have woodsmen. And they are a siege attacker. You just need one spawn in anybody's army, and you can siege that right away. So why is this guy one of the easiest? Because his mechanic, his ability to wear down enemy troops means that even sieges, if you're patient, can be taken easily early on. You move him up to the gates, you have him start taking down the gates, and any enemy soldiers that come near the gate are going to get attrition on them. Where is it? Here it is. So Aura-Val transmutation. Notice the difference in this one from most other ones is he doesn't have to be in melee. Most mortis engines require melee. He just has to be near them. So 16 to 32 for 35 meter range. That's every single enemy infantry unit standing near him. Then of course it's increased by that ability that we saw on his skill tree. These are just the things that he picks up along the way. So I think he's relatively simple. Easy win. You just start here, you take out this territory, you come up here, and then you go into Athelorn. I haven't finished it off yet. Is that the... Yeah, I haven't even gone into Athelorn, so who knows what I was doing in this campaign, just jacking around. Okay, I'm going to take a look at the one that used to be the best, easiest campaign, and talk about why I want to downgrade it from the easiest of the Beastmen campaigns at this point. So, the ability that you had when you were playing as Taurox was that you had this sort of never-ending ability to rampage. You could build up rampage points, you could spend them to take another turn and keep going, and that has been significantly nerfed, mostly in a couple of areas. Let me get this loaded up. Okay, so we've got this map. This I played a long time ago. It's like over a year old. You can see I have all these ruin rituals completed. I'm doing pretty good on the dread. We have a short victory, but we have not. Yeah, you know, we got to go back to the Empire, which is kind of interesting for a guy that doesn't start there. But what he had was this rampage mechanic. That as you did damage, you could claim these rewards. And then when you were... Whoops, where is he? Oh, gotta go back down there. When you were playing as Taurox, you could cash in some of his points here. Okay, replenish his movement range. You could cash in your points using 3 momentum, and he would be able to take another turn. So here's your momentum, and you get momentum from winning battles, and then you can get it. You can get a little extra from some other abilities. The problem is that the ability to generate momentum was founded primarily on having close cities that allowed lots of fights, ambushes in the wild, and then that you got a little bit of additional movement after each of these attacks that allowed you to continue going. And that was reduced. So when I played this campaign, he was just ridiculous. You could just hop from city to city, often replenishing your ability to go immediately after a fight, and that has been slowed down significantly with changes to this. I think I still have all the same. Yeah, I gained all the other. I got the gang together as it is. He does strengthen Minotaurs, but again, mythologically, it's not nearly as great as it used to seem. If you come into his skill tree and you search for Minotaur, you can see that this one here is Minotaur, right? Gives Gore Greed, which is a regeneration and combat ability for the Minotaurs. And then this one here, right? These two are the same that everybody has. The only thing he does specifically in his skill tree that favors Minotaurs is this one right here. Everything else is stuff like this that everybody can get. So he is the guy that you want to have the Minotaurs fighting for him, but he's not sort of ridiculously powerful in that sense that you might think he was. So I don't even have. Why don't I have his weapon? Did I not do that? I have a tendency not to do the quest battles, but this faction is still fun to play. It's a little strange because he starts out over here, his settlement beginning, he starts out over here. Alright, you're going to take Clark Caron first, and then, you know, you take a couple of these, you can do your ritual and move on, or you can fight here and build this up to get this. So, not as good as the other guys in terms of ease. He's a lot of fun. He's a fun one to use. He's got some good skills. But his nerf at the last, I think it was a year or two ago, they nerfed him. They made it far less possible to just take, 10 turns to take over all of Nagaron because of the ridiculous ease with which you could initiate a rampage. Okay, so I'm hoping that some of you will play Beastmen now. They are very interesting. They're very fun. Their update was outstanding. They are an interesting mechanic. They're easy because you really aren't going to get, you're not going to lose until you've lost your very last army and your very last settlement. And if you have an army, you can just hide it in a corner rebuilding it and sneak around until you can start your second chance. So, thank you very much.